So rehabilitative alimony is one of the four types of alimonies in Florida. Here in Florida, we have durational, rehabilitative, bridge the gap, and permanent alimony. Today, we're going to focus specifically on rehabilitative alimony and what the difference is between that one and bridge the gap and what you need to qualify. So, before anything else, you need to show the court that the spouse that's requesting the alimony needs to show the court that they have the need for alimony. So you can't have the same type of income with the other spouse or same type of expenses and then say, hey, I need support, and it's hard to show when that there's a need unless that person really relied on the other one, and there's a disparity in debt, for example. But typically this, alimony, there has to be a showing that there is a disparity of income in the sense that there was one spouse that was really being either the breadwinner or paying for most of the expenses while the other one didn't and isn't necessarily self-sufficient, or it doesn't have either the certifications or the education to get a job that would allow that person to have the same standard of living after they divorce. So let's say you prove your case. I have the need and the other spouse has the ability, because of course that's the second prong. You have to show that the other spouse has the actual ability to be able to support you, because if they don't, if then you won't necessarily qualify for alimony. And that's really what's typical here. We see a lot of cases where there is a need. However, if the other spouse doesn't have the ability, then you don't have sufficient grounds to request for alimony. So rehabilitative alimony it's ideal for someone that was either starting the process of, getting a certification or a degree, and they get married, or they don't get married, but at some point they had some sort of education or some sort of skills, and then they never followed through, or they did get a education or a certain certification, but they just haven't had resources or experience or CLEs or continuing learning education, or something that would prohibit them from being self-sufficient and getting a job that would, in essence, at the end of the day, allow them to support themselves in the same way and live in the same way as the standard of living as established in the relationship. So this is ideal for those type of people, the ones that they need to either redevelop a previous skill that they had, or they need to acquire some sort of training, education, or experience that's necessary to get or develop the appropriate employment skills or credentials. So it's also it's very important to remember that someone that has a job, it does not necessarily mean that they're self-supported, because it's not about being able to pay certain bills and to be employed. It's you also want to be able to live the same way and have the same standard of living as you did during the marriage. So that's really what it's all about. Does this person have the skills necessary or the credentials necessary to, once the divorce is finalized, to live on their own and be able to do this themselves? And if the answer is no, then and there is a need and the ability to pay, then you may qualify for this. Another thing that's very, very important, especially with this type of alimony, is that you have to have a plan. So let's say, for example, I was studying to be a nurse and I got married and I stopped. I didn't finish my degree, but I was almost there. Let's say that the college that I am applying to now will accept my credits, and I only have XYZ amount of time left, and I'm in the middle of a divorce and my spouse has the ability and I have the need. This would be a very good type of alimony for me, just because I do have a plan. Again, I have to show the court, this is the plan. I'm going to transfer my credits. I'm going to start on this date, and the graduation expected date is XYZ. You have to have a plan. If you, for some reason, want to become a lawyer now, which, to each its own, but if you want to be a lawyer and you don't have any type of background, you don't have a bachelor's degree, you don't have any credits, you've never applied to law school, and you just tell the court, I have a need, there's an ability to pay, but I don't have a plan, then they're not going to give it to you. So this is a type of alimony that you approach with a plan. Certification, the length of how long is it going to take for you to get certified, what are the credentials, have the more planned out the better, because that is the way to do it with rehabilitative. This type of alimony is different from bridge the gap, because in bridge the gap is assuming that, or it's when it's an ideal case for when the spouse actually already has these skills or certifications. They just need help with the transition of from being married to being single and getting all their finances, and pretty much they need help with the transition. This again is different because you don't have the skills or credentials yet to be self-sufficient. So if bridge the gap is not working and permanent you don't qualify for, then this is a type of alimony that you want to request the court. And again, you have to have a plan. It has to be specific, and there has to be a need and ability. That's always going to be a requirement. So if you have any questions on the other types of alimony, or if anything, Florida law, please let us know, because we love developing content to help better serve you and to answer your questions. So please reach out to us. Have an awesome day. Thank you.